Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. Today I am going to discuss a very important part of physics. It is basically special theory of relativity, and it is, you can say that this is a special branch of a physics, and it is very important. And I will give you the concept about what is special theory of relativity. I often see the student that they have no concept about the special theory of relativity. What is special theory of relativity, and which type of theories and paradoxes are discussed in this theory, in this relativity portion, and how I will discuss, you can see. Firstly, I will consider about I didn't write it, but I will explain it verbally, that about the Maxwell theory. What was the Maxwell theory? First theory was Maxwell theory, and before it there was a history on the special theory of relativity, and it will take one lecture which is of 20 to 30 minutes, and it will be so long. I am just giving you some concept of the Maxwell theory of light and Einstein paradox only, and it is basically a very important topic of a special theory. And the Einstein paradox, about the special theory of relativity I will discuss, and before it I will discuss the Maxwell theory of light, which is basically, you can write on the copies that light, what is Maxwell theory of light? Firstly, that light is a combination of electric and magnetic fields. These electric and magnetic fields travel through the space as waves having speed 3 multiplied by 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. And these waves are called the electromagnetic waves. It's mean that I am talking about the Maxwell theory of light. That what will happen, that basically light is the combination of electric and magnetic field. You know what is electric field, you know what is magnetic field. If I take the combination of electric field and the magnetic field, then it was the Maxwell theory of light, that if the electric and the magnetic field travel through the speed of light, basically special theory of relativity is you can say is based on the experiment thoughts. It's basically an experiment thought. The everything which goes with the speed of light, which travel with the speed of light, is studied here. So if I take electric and the magnetic fields which travel through the space as waves, in the form of a waves, then we can say they having the speed of 3 multiplied by 10 raised to power 8 meter per second, and then we can say that these waves are called the electromagnetic waves. So this was the Maxwell theory of light, that light will travel like that. But what Einstein paradox say? Einstein says that the special theory of, and now I am discussing on the Einstein paradox, which is on screen, that is the special theory of relativity was proposed in 1905, which based on the thought experiment. Obviously, I have explained you that it is basically a thought experiment, that we can only think that the things can move with the speed of light, but in reality it is very difficult, or it is nearly impossible to take a thing which can move with the speed of light. This is nearly impossible. So if we consider, or we just let about our thought experiment, that what will happen and how can happen, then we will see that special theory of relativity is important in this matter. Einstein studied Maxwell theory of electromagnetic waves and thought about the paradox stated. Paradox mean conceptually thought experiment, you can say. When Einstein studied the Maxwell theory, he has another theory in his mind, and it was like that: if you were to move, I am talking about this one. I am explaining this this brown color statement, that if you were to move at a speed of light parallel to the light beam traveling in empty space, you would observe static electric and magnetic field patterns. It's mean that if you are moving with the speed of light, you are moving, let's say I am moving with the speed of light, and then another thing which is moving, the light beam is with me, and it is also moving with the speed, same speed, traveling in the empty space. Obviously there is no hinders, there is no hurdles, and it is traveling in an empty space, so you would observe a static electric and magnetic patterns. Obviously I will study, I will see the static electric and magnetic field patterns. And Einstein knew that this statement violated Maxwell, so it has two choices to solve this paradox. Einstein knew that this statement violated Maxwell. He knows that Maxwell and Einstein paradox will be violate each other, but he also has two choices only. He How can he solve it? He can solve this paradox only by taking two choices, that number one, Maxwell theory should be wrong, and if the Maxwell theory is not wrong, then the classical kinematics allows an observer to travel along with a light beam. This is wrong. That's mean that classical kinematics, this is another branch of a physics, and it also he is talking about that this branch should allow the observer to travel with the light beam, because I have tell you that about the impossibility or possibility of an observer to move with the speed of light. It is nearly impossible to travel with the speed of light. So he thought that Maxwell theory should be wrong, and if the Maxwell theory is not wrong, then the classical kinematics should allow an observer to travel with the speed of light. And if two things are not if these two choices are not good or are not true, then we can say that we have to choose a correct choice. So he has to choose another choice, which was a correct choice of Einstein. He accepted the Maxwell theory. He accepted Maxwell theory, and then he gave an alternative theory, or basically, which is alternative to the kinematics of Galileo and Newton. He gave his new theory. And the classical kinematics, obviously in classical kinematics, I will talk about the classical kinematics. What is it? It's include time, mass, length, velocity, momentum, and energy, etc. Einstein put forward his special theory of relativity in 1905 after considering his correct choice, that is, he gave about the new alternative to the kinematics of Galileo and Newton. So this was a total paradox of the Einstein, and in this lecture you are able to understand the Maxwell theory. What is Maxwell theory? You know about it, that it is a combination of electric and magnetic field, and electric and magnetic field travel with the speed of light, which is 3 multiplied by 10 raised to power 8, and then if it move, then these waves are called the electromagnetic waves. Basically Maxwell theory is the simple one, it is about light. And what Einstein paradox said, that if we are moving with the speed of light parallel to the light beam traveling in the empty space, you would observe classical as well as magnetic field pattern. So these two were the basic things which were important in this topic, Einstein paradox. And it is an important topic, of special theory of relativity. It is just the start of this theory, special theory of relativity, and inshallah I will make your concept of a special theory of relativity, and it is not difficult for you, for your student. Okay, thank you so much.